Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike, the premier business radio program around. I'm host Mike King. I appreciate you being here with me. The views expressed here are mine. I have no connection to, support, of agreement with any other host, information, or ads on the station. I don't work for the stations you hear me on. I just broadcast from there, and I'm grateful for that to be able to bring these game-changing folks to you. Join me as this cutting-edge show. We uplift the community and showcase RVA in a different way. Today, we're coming to you from the Solutions Business Summit for the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce. It is Mike King. I'm here. But what we do is we got a friend of the family who came back. What we do is we leave a light on for you, and all of a sudden people do come back. So we got Tara, who is with us. She is the Joy Lady. She is out there promoting joy in the community and also the power that comes with it. So welcome back,
right,
ma'am.
Thank you so much.
So you are known as our gentle house. Give our listeners an idea who you are, because you were with us before
Yes.
on The Choice.
Yep.
And that was an appropriate place.
Yeah.
You know, it's a religious station.
Yep.
You know, all the great things you're doing down at The Choice. Here we're coming to you from a business aspect,
Right.
but your story's still great.
Thank you so much, Mike.
All righty, give our listeners
Yep.
an idea who Tara is,
Yep.
and then we're going to go into some of the cool things that you're doing.
Absolutely. Well, I love being referred as the Joy Lady.
You are.
That just makes me so happy. I love it that you call me that. So I'm coming at you from Our Gentle House. That's the name of my company. And I'll tell you a little bit about it. Our tagline is step into joyous living. And so Our Gentle House, I'll give you a little background about it. It's residential living for women, and it's professional living step-up house. And so what happens is women go into treatment, and they come out of there and they come into our house, and we offer them an aftercare program. Can be anywhere from 6 months to 9 months. And how the Gentle House came to be is kind of an interesting story. About 6 years ago, my mother gave me a book called The Gentle House. And it's a very interesting book about a young boy in World War II who he lost his parents in the war, and he became an orphan. And so he turned into kind of this really terrible, bratty little kid. And he was filtered through different schools and different homes. And he just nobody wanted to keep him because he was so awful. And he finally landed at this school, and this teacher said, look, you're going to come home with me, and I'm going to gently care for you and love you and give you the skills you need to turn into a gentle man. And she did that. And so my mother loved this book, and she gave me this book, The Gentle House. And she said, look, Tara, I'm sorry that I didn't give you a gentle house to grow up in. I didn't have one either. My mother didn't have one, but I love you, and I'm sorry that I wasn't able to give that to you. And she gave me this book, and it was kind of her way to make an amends to me. And it was a beautiful, beautiful testament to me, and we really bonded over this book. And she died of breast cancer a year later. And so I felt like after that happened, I'd always wanted to start a recovery house for women. And after she did that and she died, I felt like she kind of came to me across the veil and really was time to do this, and supported me in her heavenly way of starting the Gentle House for women. And so we started Our Gentle House.
One of the great things about that is, you know, when you said that she wanted to teach him how to be a gentle man, you know, and a lot of times people put those together. It's a gentleman, you know, it's like to get that part, you know, it's life-changing, because all of a sudden, so your mother gives you that book. Does it mean that to you right then as it does a few years later when the light clicks, when you're an adult and you're like, now I see what mom was doing?
I absolutely see it now. And I want to give that same gentle, loving care to these women that come to our facility, because, you know, they've had a really rough, rocky, sometimes just horrible, cruel life. And they need gentleness, they need respect, they need care, they need trust. And when they come to us, that's what we give them. And we show them a different way to live. We give them a different path. And that's what the Gentle House does. And we give them hope.
When you have people who are out there, how do people get to you guys? And that's the first question. How do people get to you?
So I want to give a big shout out to the treatment facilities out there that are just frontline right now. And, COVID has just been, has brought a whole nother element to our people that are suffering with addiction. And they're on the front lines and they're working double time right now. I work with the treatment facilities. They help bring the women into our home, but alcohol addiction is on the rise. It's increased over 18% in a year from 2019 to 2020. And also on the rise are anti-anxiety meds, 34% increase in a year.
So one really quickly. So on the mic with Mike Tara here. She is the Joy Lady. She's out there talking about all things that impact her life. Let me ask you this right here. Do you think that it's more prevalent now, or are you shining a light on it? Do you think it's always been there, or now we've been on adult timeout for 2 years and we have time to really look at it, or it's always been?
Yeah, well, the statistics are showing because of COVID, because it's been around for over a year now, people are literally having mental breakdowns. And people are literally turning to anti-anxiety medications and are drinking more.
Yes, I can definitely.
So the problem is that, COVID is happening and that's bringing a lot of stress. It's bringing a lot of fear. It's bringing some anger. And part of what I teach is emotional intelligence training. And that brings us to part of my program and part of my workshop that I talk about with the emotions and the power of our emotions. And COVID is playing on all of our emotions. It's wrecking us emotionally. And statistics are showing that people are having a hard time getting up, getting out of bed, getting to work, performing well at work, and not even showing up to work and leaving work. So stats are showing that people aren't going to work. We're having a hard time hiring people for work. I mean, this is an all-time high for records showing that people are just leaving their jobs
without any type of, I got the next thing. People are just
That's
saying,
right.
I've had enough.
That's right. They're just quitting and they're staying home. So I'm seeing this. I'm working with treatment facilities. I'm working with these women for a couple years now, and with COVID and with mental health crisis, I realized we have got to do something. We have got to start teaching and bringing tools around to help bringing more joy into people's lives. And so with my emotional intelligence training, I wanted to give people's tools to access their fears, their emotions that are plaguing them with these COVID, with these issues with COVID and other things, to help them get through this COVID dilemma that we're having. So that's why I created the workshop.
All
So I
right.
really want to get out there to our frontline people, the teachers, the nurses. I work with a lot of women that come through grocery stores and, all of the frontline people that are having such a hard time. We thought it would be over in a year. It's not.
It's not.
It's still happening, and we need a lot of help for them.
On the mic with Mike, ESPN Richmond. That's where we are, coming to you from the Chesterfield Business Solutions Summit. We're here today. They're talking business, life, and everything in between. But I got the Joy Lady with me. Tara is here with us. She is Tara Lloyd. How can people find you out there in the ether?
Awesome. Thanks for asking. You can find me at ourgentlhouse.com. That's my website. You can find me on Facebook at Tara Lloyd. It's Lloyd, LLOYD.
The double L.
That's right. You can find me on LinkedIn, and you can find me on YouTube at Tara Lloyd Joy Journey.
Shout out to my man, Barry Moore. He was the one
Barry.
who brought you to our world. He says you got to meet Tara. And when Barry says you got to meet somebody, that's exactly what happens. All righty. So I asked people right now how people are doing out there. You said people are kind of hurting.
People are hurting. People are having a tough time.
Are we doing better than we were 6-8 months ago? How are people doing as far as from the joy factor?
The joy, well, statistics show that we're actually not, unfortunately, because we were really hunkered down the first year, and we really tried really hard to stay in our homes, to stay isolated. But the problem with addiction is if you're isolated, you're not connecting. And that's the number one thing with addiction is you've got to connect.
You got to stay connected.
You got to get out. You got to stay with your people. And that wasn't happening. So that whole first year when everyone was, being really good about isolating and not connecting, maybe doing some Zoom meetings, some AANA stuff. It wasn't good enough. And so this second year that's rolled around, people are coming out. They've been hunkered down. They're hurting. They need that connection. They need some help. And so now we're really working into some solution-oriented things when we're really trying to get these workshops out to people so that they can understand. Now, granted, my workshop is not AA or NA based. My workshop is a professional workshop, but I do give it to people that are in AA and NA. I do give them to businesses. I do go to events and I teach this. This workshop is for everybody. Every kind of person can benefit from this joy workshop, and it's 5 steps that I give out.
How long is it for a business that's out there that's worried about the culture of their
Right.
organization? How long is this, and how long can it be? Can it be tailored to a business?
Yeah, I have it tailored to businesses. Actually, it's 90 minutes long. The first half goes into emotional intelligence, and it talks about our 6 universal emotions.
You talked about that before,
I did.
and you did drop the knowledge on. So it's Mike Tower here. We're rolling on ESPN as well as The Choice. The difference between happiness and joy.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, really, to find out that there is a difference. A lot of people are like, I just want to be happy. And that's such a big question. Like when I talk to and research and interviewed a lot of people, what does that mean to you to be happy?
Well, okay, so you're asking a lot of people, did people really know?
No.
We don't know. We just, I
No.
want to be happy. And if you pin us down, we're like, what does that mean? We're like,
People can't
I
explain
don't
it.
know. I don't want to feel like this right
Right.
now, but I want to be happy. Well, can you tell
Right.
what being happy looks or feels like? And
Yes.
people are like, no, I don't know.
That's right. So happiness is actually not an emotion or a feeling. It's a measurement. And so happiness is defined as a measurement of how we respond internally to positive experiences over time. It's a measurement of internal experiences, positive experiences over time. So that's a very helpful definition for us. And it's actually a measurement of joy. So our 6 key universal emotions, which I'm going to point out is important to know, is fear, anger, disgust, sadness, surprise, and joy.
So, and those are the 6
Universal emotions.
So the emotions. So out of the 6, 2 are really bad.
Oh, which ones? Fear,
Okay, fear
and anger.
and anger.
Yeah.
Totally bad.
Those, they do protect us. They do have their needs, and we do need them, but they can get out of control, especially fear. There's 100 forms of fear that
Yeah,
plague
fear can
us.
paralyze you.
Correct. So with the fear, anger, disgust, sadness, and surprise is okay. You know, our brains are wired to constantly be looking out with these emotions to protect us from something. And it finds things to protect us. So what I want us to do is to train our brains to start seeking joy. But there's only one emotion that's truly 100% positive, and that's joy. And so joy is all around us. It's always there. It's just we're not wired to seek it out and find it and bring it in.
Okay, let me ask you this. Now you have to speak for all of the joy experts who are out there. On the mic with Mike Tower. Lloyd is here with us. She is of our gentle house. Can we get that as adults, or is it easier to wire it in kids early on to find and see joy?
You know, when you watch a child, they are full of joy because they're in the present moment. They're not thinking about the past. They're not thinking about the future. They are fully engaged in the present. We are born with joy. As little babes and little children, we are born into joy. As we grow older and older, we lose joy. So it's almost a way of coming back to joy, into our natural state.
So we're losing joy because we're not living in the present moment.
That's correct.
How about if the present moment is bad? You then went down to all the things.
Yep.
You're like, all those things, boy, we got to hold on to joy. We're living in the present moment because, as you said, you see kids, they're running around, they're happy, they're trying to do all those things. And as you get a little bit older, one of the things I always say is, before we moved to Richmond, we lived in a college town. And I like living in a college town because young people still believe the world could be a better place.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten infected with the old folks thing as, oh, the world is horrible. This is as good as it's going to be. They're still looking at the possibilities.
Yeah.
So now I'm asking you, can you please help us who are adults? How do we get back to that joy that you're talking
That's
about?
right. So you will see a child get angry.
Okay.
You will see a child get sad. You will see a child get disgusted, but they don't stay there. They are in healthy emotion mode, and a healthy emotion lasts an hour.
For a child.
For
So
a
now
child.
as an adult, if we want to hold on to that for joy,
Yep.
we need to enhance and reach back to when we were children, that mindset.
We are not going to stay in joy 100% of the time.
Right.
But we are going to learn to pull it in more and more during the day. And those joy moments add up to a lifetime of happiness. So what I'm encouraging people to do is to pull in more joy during the day, so it counters and balances out the times of sadness and anger and disgust, so that we counterbalance that. So we're not always angry, we're not always sad, we're not always fearful, because those will weigh us down. Something that's really interesting, I didn't talk about last time that I'm going to talk about now, is we all have energy fields. We all have this energy
Yes.
field. Do you know how big your energy field is according to modern day research?
I have no clue. That's why you're here.
9 feet.
So we control the energy field 9 feet around us.
That's right.
Is what we control. Positive, negative.
And in our energy field is full of emotions, and emotions mean energy and motion. So our emotions are not only internal, they're also external. That's why when you walk into a room and somebody's on the other side of the room, you can feel them. You can sense something about them.
Okay,
You can,
ma'am, let me
yes.
explain something to you. I grew up not feeling that because I grew
Okay.
up in a household that was, things are here
Yep.
and that's it. I meet my wife and she's one of them.
Yeah, she's an empath.
And all of a sudden she's explaining things to me and I'm like, if I don't see it, if it's not here, it doesn't happen.
Yep.
Over the course of 40 years,
Yep.
I'm a believer.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a believer now that people's energy, I don't have to see it. You can feel it. People, people who are born at the same time can have a lot of the things
Yeah.
in common, which I didn't think. I just thought,
Yep.
there you are. But you're saying I control 9 feet around me.
That's right.
And when I walk in,
You can sense, and more people are more skilled or just are more empaths, and they can feel the energy more than others. But a lot of times you can sense the energy of someone else just because their energy expands outside of their body into their energy field. Now, here's something interesting. The senses of fear, anger, disgust, and sadness are heavier than the joy emotion. So inside your energy field,
I know.
your fear, let's just go with fear, is very heavy emotion.
Yes, it is.
And it is going to weigh down your energy field. So when you're feeling heavy, that's because your energy field is heavy with sadness or fear. When you're feeling lighthearted, you're in your joy and you're up here, and joy is a lighter energy. So your energy field is going to go up. It's going to be lighter. So your emotions play such a vital role in how you perceive the day and how you move through the day. You're always in emotion. So it's very important in how you fill up your energy field and your emotions. Do you want to be lighthearted or do you want to be heavy-hearted? And do you want to feel light and buoyancy and be able to move around freely and joy, or weighted down and feeling heavy? And I think about my energy field a lot. Like, what do I want to put in it? Well, how do I want to feel throughout the day? And I'm cognizant of that. And I want people to try to pay more attention to that.
What are your feelings on the whole affirmations thing? Uh-oh, no, she didn't got it carried away. Okay, here we go.
So this is actually step 1 of the workshop. Is every morning, I don't say affirmations, so I love affirmations. I say to set an intent.
Okay.
An intent. Set your intent in the morning. Now, this is different than a goal. Goals can be kind of, people get a little anxious about goals. I don't want any anxiety.
So whether I achieve my goal for the day.
It's not like that.
Okay, so intent.
An intent is a course to set your mind to follow. And so your mind is going to be, unless you set your mind to follow something, your mind is not going to be directed in any kind of way. It's just going to be whatever comes at it is going to follow. So when I get up in the morning, I give my mind something to follow, and that's my intent. My intent might be, I will seek out joy today, or I will smile more today, or, I'm going to pay attention and be of service to someone in need today. So I start my morning and I set my intent for the day. And then through the day, my brain just kind of reminds me of it. And I'll be sitting there and I might be thinking, smiling is a really big one. Smiling is a very important tool for joy, because that's one of the definitions we have for joy is smiling as a register for joy. When you're smiling, you are probably in a joy mode. So smile more. Smiling more will put you in joy mode. So take a register, just kind of think about at the end of the night or the end of the day, how much did I smile and laugh today?
So the idea, so it's not so much affirmations or goal setting, it's intent. The intent for today is what about speaking things into existence? What are your thoughts on that? Oh, Lord. Okay.
I love it.
Okay, here we go.
I love it. So I love I am. And there's a couple of people that I follow that talk about I am. And I believe that it's one thing to think something and it's another thing to speak it out loud.
Okay.
And so here's something interesting that I met with the last couple of weeks. I did a little experiment. And I asked some people, hi, Mike, how are you? And I wrote down the responses that I got. And I'm so tired. I'm just so tired. Or
Okay.
I'm exhausted. I got, I'm so busy. I'm just so busy. I even got, oh my gosh, I'm so fat. COVID, I've just been sitting around. I've gained so much weight. These people are speaking this into their existence. The more I say I'm tired, guess what?
The more tired you are.
That's right. The more I say I'm fat, guess what? I'm shaming myself into this, that I'm fat, that I'm not pretty, that I'm not good enough. And so what I say is, not only am I thinking this, I'm saying it out loud. And that has an extremely powerful effect on everything. It's creating it literally into our day and into our reality. And once you realize this, it's really hard to stop doing it. And I ask people, pay attention to how you respond when people say, hi, how you doing? I came in today and you asked me, hi, how you doing? And I said, I am excellent. I like this one for women. I am fierce. And people are like, whoa.
Because people are shocked with that. Because even if I'm joking around, people say, how you doing? I'm like, I'm super duper.
Yeah.
People are like, and it kind of like, okay, well, maybe I'm not, but that's what I'm going for.
That's what you're going
because
for.
I asked a friend of mine who has Better Together, Stephanie Becker, and she says when a person has a child who has some issues, you know what they say? It's like, how are you doing? And and they're like, if I give you the real answer,
Yep.
it may scare you and run with your hair on fire.
Right.
Because people, sometimes we do have issues going on, but when you meet up with the person, it's kind of like, how you doing? Are you going to give me the standard, hey, I'm good, and let's keep it moving?
Right.
Or are we going to really have that real conversation about that? Okay, so here, you want to give a shout out to some folks.
I do.
We got to shout people out. That's what we do here.
Yes. So I want to give a shout out to Rob Gegan. And it's G-E-G-N.
Okay.
And Rob, you can find him on LinkedIn. He's a senior sales recruiter for ADP.
Okay.
He helps me and the ladies on LinkedIn and behavioral-based interviewing. He's the best of the best. He's helped us with the interviewing process and anything on LinkedIn. Give him a shout out.
We got to get
Rob Gegan,
you have to
ADP.
now. You understand how when you just can't shout people's names out. You got to get him on. We got to talk to him because if he's important in your world, then it means he's doing something out there.
I think that's great.
Alrighty. So Rob Gegan, you're on notice. You got to come in here and talk to us.
Oh, he'll love that. Thank you. Thank you. And then Barry Moore.
Shout out to Barry Moore.
BBB.
That's right, Barry Moore. He is the Barry Moore, and it is the Better Business Bureau.
That's right.
So Mike is here, Tara's here. How can people find you? All right. So business owners, this is a business show and we always talk about culture here. culture can be defined and helped by talking to Tara Lloyd, and that's Lloyd double L. And she is out here, besides the work to help your business on the business side, the work she's doing on the nonprofit side is really outstanding. So one last time, on the business side, how can people find you so that you can help their business improve culture?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. Just go to Tara Lloyd, obviously, Facebook, YouTube, and my website is ourgentlehouse.com.
All righty, Our Gentle House. I like that part about being a gentleman.
Yes.
It's there's
Yes.
kudos to those out there who are being gentlemen. So it's On the Mic with Mike. Tara is here. We are coming to you from the Business Solutions Summit at the Chesterfield Chamber. On the Mic with Mike. We have to go. We'd like to thank our show sponsors, Tom Childry, the credit card guy, Andy Taylor, John Cluggers, my man Rob White, who is responsible for the artwork, my stand-up sign, whatever it's called. He is there. So we'd like to thank him for being sponsors of the program, as well as the Chesterfield Chamber. On the Mic with Mike, the best business radio program around. It is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, ESPN Richmond 106.1, 5 to 7 a.m. The Choice 105.3, 2 to 3 every day, as well as International Business Growth Radio. We're the best in the business. Why? Because we get the best guests like Tara. Make sure you check her out. And we got to talk to Rob, and we're going to get Barry Moore on here. I was going to call him Barry White. I don't know why. It's Rob White and Barry Moore, not Barry White.
Barry Moore.
Barry White is not coming here to sing for the program. That is true. So these people have done a great job here. So On the Mic with Mike. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks now. Take care.